Hello, fellas and ladies. We're still doing TIFF. I've got so many TIFF reviews to do. This is my this is the third video I've recorded within an hour. But you don't have to wait at all if you don't want to. If you don't want to wait, you want to know what I think ASAP and quickly. Bite-sized breakdown, all on there, and it's also a dope-ass website with a whole range of opinions on everything, ever. Mostly just like new stuff, but ever! The next film is the newest film from writer-director Mike Leigh, Hard Truths. Hard Truth is about a woman named Pansy, played by Marianne Jean-Baptiste. A truly difficult, nasty woman who lashes out at anyone just for looking at her funny, and it follows basically what the effect of her nastiness does to her family and the people she loves, and on top of that also dives deep into how people like this become who they are. I'm a huge fan of Mike Leigh. Just getting that out there right away. If you want to call me biased, have at it. But I love Naked. I love Secrets and Lies. I loved Mr. Turner. And one of my absolute favorite movies, I love Topsy Turvy. I even love his last one, Peterloo. I know a lot of people are a little negative on it, but I liked it a lot. But his new film feels a lot like a return to form in many ways, as it's a very humanistic, down-to-earth, very smartly written drama. First of all, let's get out of the way. Marianne Jean-Baptiste is fucking excellent. Every single scene, especially in the first half, she is just a wrecking ball. This is not someone who's bad as how you want to be on it. Marianne Jean-Baptiste just is a force of nature. Every time she opens her mouth, every time she just decides to go in with just a ribbing insult, just dissecting and tearing down someone from the inside, she is outstandingly hilarious, outstandingly just brutal, and just so, like, her execution is spectacular. And even when we slow down and get to know her and start to see the tragedy and the trauma of this character, she is very silent and secluded after she decides to stop talking, and we just see the pain in her eyes, and she is fantastic. For better or worse, Marianne Jean-Baptiste is an absolutely astounding talent in this movie, and you will be amazed by her. The entire ensemble is excellent, honestly. Michelle Austin's going to get a lot of praise, rightfully so. She plays Marianne Jean-Baptiste's character's sister, and she is basically the only person who basically knows how to deal with her, who's basically just the most used to her bullshit. I think her delivery and her turmoil is very well executed by Michelle Austin. My personal standout, aside from Marianne Jean-Baptiste, is David Weber, who plays her husband. And this guy he has barely any dialogue. Same with the guy who plays their kid, Tawan Barrett. Both of them are just so used to the just constant ridicule and abuse coming from Marianne Jean-Baptiste's character that they're just mostly what you see from them is just utter, complete silence. One can call them coward, but in reality, they're just insanely hurt people. David Weber does a lot of unbelievable eye acting. You just look at this guy and there's just years and years, possibly even decades of just bottled up pain and hurt. Just looking at him, just from those little eyelids, especially certain things towards the end, we see him do things. Again, with barely any words, he is just so hard to look away from. The writing in this movie is fantastic. Just through and through, I love the writing, I love the dialogue, I love the insane insults that Marianne Jean-Baptiste throws at people. The way that Marianne Jean-Baptiste just rails on someone with no hesitation, just always saying the perfect insults, I think goes a lot with what Mike Leigh is good at, which is writing. All these characters feel very lived in. It feels like we're just kind of watching a day in their life when something specific is now happening to them. That's kind of the best writing, when it feels like we're not watching the beginning of someone's story, we're watching the middle of the end of someone's story. This movie will make you laugh. Like, this movie's gonna make you laugh, especially in the front half. Because despite how obviously unlikable Marianne Jean-Baptiste's character is, you can't help but just laugh along with her. There is something, like, even though half of the people don't deserve it, there is something a little satisfying about her just ribbing in on someone, and you can't help but laugh. I always admire a movie that can have a very obviously unlikable protagonist and allow you to follow through with it anyway and still have you invested, still have you feeling for her. This woman's very, like, obviously unlikable. She's unlikable as fuck. But you do feel for her, especially in the back half. We start to reveal some stuff. We kind of peel back the layers, kind of see who she really is, why she is this way. And even when we do, it's kind of like, is it too late for her to change? Is it too late for her to evolve? She's very clearly stubborn. When she's hit in the face with the reality of what she's done to her family, it's pretty heartbreaking to watch. And it does kind of, the quote-unquote hard truth of the movie is, like, Their lives would be better without her. I will say the ending it's a little ambiguous. A bit too ambiguous. It's just like, all right, I get why it was that way, but I feel like it was a little bit, they could have given us a little bit more of a quote-unquote answer. They didn't, even without, like, shoving it down our throats, it didn't give us enough to think about. It just, like, we had to fill in everything. It's not, here's a couple blanks, fill it in with your imagination. It's just, fill in everything. I don't love that, but I do think I kind of see where Mike Leigh's head was at. One complaint I did hear about this movie that I kind of agree with is that it feels too much like this is a very isolated situation. Like, this doesn't feel like it's like, what are you supposed to take away from it? This feels like a very specific thing, but I do think it is intentional. I do think there is something to take away from this, that you don't owe the people in your life who were terrible to you anything, but it has a very much a hurt people kind of message going on with it. And even if you can't digest all that, even if there's not, like, quote unquote a lot to take away, I do think Hard Truth is a worthwhile viewing experience for that kind of, not very much ambiguity, but for that, not to get corny, hard truth. In the end, while Hard Truth isn't Mike Leigh's best, however high that bar may be, it's an excellent portrayal of a broken person breaking her family and loved ones in the process that'll make you laugh, feel a little disturbed and sad, and gawk at the sheer force of Marianne Jean-Baptiste's just insane performance. And I'm going to have to give Hard Truth's 8.5 Mike Leighs out of 10. I do want to talk briefly about Oscars. I know people are going to go nothing because it's bleaker, because they have PTSD from Mass. But I did watch this going, man, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, just predict her, put her in, just slide her in there. Maybe she gets bumped out. Maybe the bleaker of it all is actually a bad thing. But I don't know. And Dowd came close, and they've gotten actors in before. I'm just talking about actress here. I don't think Hard Truth's going to get screenplay. I just don't think enough people care. But in my opinion, like, a distributor can fuck up a movie. I definitely agree with that. But I also think if people see the movie, if voters see the movie, who cares? I think voters are going to go see the new Mike Leigh movie. I don't think enough people, this movie clearly is not getting the buzz it needed. So I guess it's just not going to get anything outside of actress if that even happens. But I feel like if competition becomes too strong, then there you are. But I do think Marianne Jean-Baptiste is just hard to deny. She is really fucking good. All right, that is it. Subscribe and share, and I don't have time for jokes. I got more TIFF reviews to film.